Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a brand new explainer, taking a comprehensive 10-step guide from the concrete network and turning it into your ultimate phase-by-phase recipe for building a surface that literally lasts a lifetime. You know, concrete has been the foundation of our built environment for thousands of years, but pouring it right? Well, that is equal parts brutal physical labor and incredibly delicate chemical science. Today, we're going to break down that science.
To make this whole process a bit less intimidating, we've broken it down into 4 main phases: blueprint for success, mixing and placing, the art of finishing, and curing and long-term care. Plus, we'll cap it off with some frequently asked questions.
All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, the blueprint for success, which focuses on site prep and forms. This is where we have to be incredibly methodical, because meticulous preparation absolutely dictates your final result. These first 3 steps are all about laying the groundwork. Literally. Step 1 is clearing the area and compacting a solid 4-inch crushed stone base for drainage. Step 2 is getting your formwork in place. You want sturdy, sloped wooden forms so water actually runs off your finished patio instead of pooling in the middle. And step 3, that's adding your steel reinforcement, like rebar or welded wire mesh, to give the concrete that crucial tensile strength it just doesn't have on its own. Now, here's a massive pro tip regarding that reinforcement. You should never, ever just toss your rebar flat on the dirt. It has to be elevated on these little supports called chairs. Why? Because when the steel is suspended, the wet concrete completely wraps around it. If the steel touches the ground, moisture creeps in, the steel rusts, it expands, and boom, your beautiful new slab cracks right from the inside out. Definitely something you want to avoid. Moving right along to phase 2, mixing and placing. The energy really ramps up here because wet concrete waits for absolutely no one. The clock is officially ticking. This is where you're really going to break a sweat. Steps 4 and 5 are the physical peak of the job. You've got to nail the mix and, seriously, keep a very close eye on that water-to-cement ratio because adding too much water will severely weaken the final product. Then you need to hustle and get that heavy, wet mix into the forms, making sure you work out any hidden air pockets or voids that could cause structural issues down the line. So, for step 4, you have a big choice to make. If you're just doing a small DIY walkway or setting some fence posts, bagged mix is your best friend. It's pre-blended, you just add water, easy peasy. But a massal driveway? Yeah, you're going to want ready-mix concrete delivered directly by a truck. It's professionally batched, guarantees totally consistent quality, and honestly, it saves you an unbelievable amount of backbreaking labor. When you're actually getting the concrete into the forms with a square shovel or a rake, pacing is everything. The American Cement Association actually advises starting along the perimeter at one end and depositing the material, quote, only as fast as it can be handled. Basically, work smart, systematically from the edges inward so things remain manageable. All right, the forms are full to the brim. Time for phase 3, the art of finishing. The sheer physical exertion slows down here, and it becomes all about the technical artistry of smoothing and refining the surface. Steps 6 through 9 are where the magic really happens. This takes us from a rough, wet mass of aggregate to a sleek, durable slab. We're going to run into a few highly specific industry terms here, so let's quickly decode them so we know exactly what we're talking about. First step is screeding. Before you even think about grabbing a bowl float to smooth things out, you have to screed. This means taking a straight board, like a heavy piece of lumber, and literally dragging it across the top of your wooden forms to strike off the excess concrete. It compacts the mix and makes it perfectly level with your established grade. Next, we've got control joints. You'll use a special groover tool to cut lines into the slab while it's still sort of soft and workable. Concrete shrinks as it hardens, and here is a hard truth. It is going to crack. It's a fact of nature. But by cutting these joints, you're basically drawing a line and telling the concrete exactly where it's allowed to crack, hiding those fractures inside a neat little groove instead of straight across your patio. Now, as you move to step 8 and use a steel hand trowel to really press down and densify the slab, pay attention to this warning from the experts at Solomon Colors. You have to be careful not to burn the slab by overworking it. And whatever you do, do not splash extra water on top just to make troweling easier. I know it's tempting, but it dilutes the surface cement, leaving you with a weak, discolored, flaky mess. Your very last finishing step, step 9, depends entirely on what the space is for. A smooth, steel troweled finish looks amazing and is super dense, which is perfect for an indoor garage floor. But outside in the rain, that turns into a dangerous ice rink. For exterior spaces, you'll definitely want a broom finish, literally dragging a special broom across it for traction. Or if you want high-end visual appeal, you can go the stamped concrete route. Okay, the tools are put away. Welcome to Phase 4, Curing and Long-Term Care. This is entirely about patience and protection.
This brings us to step 10, which honestly might be the most crucial step for long-term strength. You see, it's a huge misconception that concrete just dries out. It actually cures through a complex chemical hydration process. If the water evaporates too fast, that process just stops dead and your slab gets weak and cracks. So you have to trap that moisture inside using wet curing, coverings, or specialized liquid curing compounds.
Let's look at the timeline here because timing in concrete is everything. You're cutting those joints early, between 6 and 18 hours in. Then you hit this hypercritical 7 to 10 day window where maintaining moisture is absolutely paramount. During that first week alone, the concrete rapidly hits about 70% of its structural strength. After that, it takes a full 28 days for the chemical reactions to finish up and for the slab to reach maximum hardness. So, how do we protect all this hard work? Well, to ensure this surface truly lasts a lifetime, maintenance is surprisingly simple. Wait about a month after the pour, then roll on a high-quality sealer. If it's an outdoor surface facing the elements, plan on reapplying that sealer every 1 to 5 years. Other than that, just hit it with some occasional soap and water to keep it looking pristine.
To wrap up our explainer today, let's dive into some frequently asked questions from the source material regarding timing, weather, and doing it yourself.
First up, if you ever hire a crew or get a ready-mix truck delivered, you're almost guaranteed to hear someone stressing out about the infamous 90-minute rule. What exactly does that mean for your project?
This goes all the way back to the 1930s. The American Society for Testing and Materials set a guideline stating that ready-mix concrete needs to be completely out of the truck within 90 minutes of water being added at the plant. It's all about maintaining strength and preventing premature setting. Now, to be fair, modern chemical admixtures added by professionals can safely stretch that window out a bit if your truck hits traffic, but it's a tight deadline for sure. Here's another one we see all the time. Say you missed the prime summer construction rush. Is it still safe to pour a slab in the autumn, like October or November? The experts give this a resounding yes. Actually, autumn temperatures right between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit are pretty much the gold standard for proper curing. These milder temps help you completely avoid the rapid, crack-inducing drying of summer heat while staying far away from the freezing risks of a deep winter pour. Autumn is a brilliant time to lay concrete. So, there you have it, the prep, the pour, the finish, and the cure. Now, a small garden walkway? That is a phenomenal, highly rewarding DIY challenge for the weekend warrior. But a massive driveway or structural foundation, you might want to hand that over to a professional crew with the heavy machinery. So the question I'll leave you with today is this. Armed with these 10 methodical steps, how will you lay the foundation for your next project? Think about it. Thanks for joining this explainer today, and we'll see you next time.